Let's learn how to sew this reverse applique heart pillow. It's a quick and easy sewing project anyone can do. I'm Narelle from Threadistry. Let's get sewing. Here's what you'll need. First, you need fabric for the front and back of the pillow. I'm using quilting cotton. You could use any woven fabric, including home decor fabrics. Next, there's the fabric for the heart. This is a cuddle fleece fabric, which gives a nice textural element. Again, you could use almost anything for this, ruffle fabric, a different quilting cotton, or even the same fabric as the pillow. To create a clean edge around the applique, I'm using a lining fabric for the pillow front. This is a poplin, which is a cheap lightweight fabric. You could also use the same fabric as the pillow front. You'll also need an invisible zipper and a pillow insert. The finished pillow size is 18-inch square, but I'm using a 20-inch pillow insert for a fuller look. If you want a flatter, floppier pillow, use an 18-inch pillow insert. An optional supply is wash-away quilter's tape to hold the applique in position. If you don't have any of this, you could just use pins. You'll also need basic sewing supplies, such as a sewing machine, thread, scissors, pins, etc. Let's see how it's made. First, we'll cut out the front and back of the pillow using a double layer of quilting cotton. Next, we'll cut out the lining for the front of the pillow using the poplin. This will be the same size as the front piece. Lastly, we'll cut the fabric for the heart applique, but we'll actually cut it as a rectangle that will be larger than the heart piece. I'm going to serge around the edge of this fabric. This is an optional step, but I'm just doing it because this teddy bear fleece loves to shed and create a mess. You can decide whether or not you want to do that based on whether your fabric is going to unravel. You could also use a zigzag stitch on your regular sewing machine if you don't have a serger. First, we'll take our front fabric and put it right side up. Next, we'll put our lining fabric on top, right sides together, lining up the edges. Now we can either take our heart template that's in the printable pattern, or you can cut the heart out of your main front pattern piece. And then for either option, we're just going to trace the outline of the heart with a fabric marker. And we'll just pin the two layers of fabric together all the way around the heart using lots of pins. And now we're going to sew around that heart shape just along that blue line that we've just drawn. So I've sewn just around the outside of my drawn on heart. Now I'm going to cut out this centerpiece. You could use a rotary cutter. I'll show you how to do it with just scissors. So I've just snipped through both layers of fabric. And I'm leaving approximately 3/8 of an inch or a centimetre, a bit less around the outside. Don't want to get too close to your stitches. Just making sure I cut through both layers. Now we just need to clip the curves and clip on these points so that we get a nice point when we turn this inside out, turn this right side out. So I'm just clip off there, making sure we don't clip our stitches. Nip up to that point, once again not touching the stitches. And then on the curves, just a little snip. Every inch to 3/4 of an inch, centimetre and a half. Okay, so we're just going to turn the lining through to the back. And I'm just rolling it out to get seam right on the edge. You don't want that lining fabric showing. And then we'll just give it a quick press. And gently poke out point of the heart. Okay, so our heart has been neatly pressed. Now we'll take our fabric for the heart, laying it right side up, and then place the fabric for the front, right side up as well on top, lining up to make sure that heart is fully covered. Now at this point, if you wanted to, you could use some wash away quilter's tape to hold the layers together, or you could use fusible web. But I'm going to show you the beginner version if you don't have too many sewing supplies, and we'll just pin everything into position. You really don't want this to move when you're sewing, so I recommend lots of pins. I'm just sliding my pins in under the fabric and lifting up to avoid moving my layers of fabric too much, to just make sure everything sits nice and flat. Now we're going to sew all the layers together around the edge of the heart. So I'm lifting with the needle down, I'm lifting the presser foot, pivoting, and continue sewing. And I'm just gonna sew over those first few stitches and then either do a locking stitch or a back stitch. So I'll stitch backwards for a few steps and then forwards again. And we're done. Now we finished the front of our cushion. We've also got the back piece of fabric, so let's turn this into a cushion and a pillow. We also need our invisible zip. First thing we'll do is mark the halfway point on the fabric. This will just help us to line up our zip. We'll just make a little mark there and there. We'll pop our zipper in place. And we want that zipper stop to be just inside the seam allowance. So we'll pop that there. The zip's a little bit too long, but that's okay. It's easier to shorten the zip. So next we will open the zipper up. And if you don't have a invisible zipper foot, and I'll just be using a regular zipper foot, what we actually want to do is, you can see the zipper teeth curl towards the zipper tape. So we want that to be as flat as possible because we want our row of stitching to be right next to that zipper tape. Right next to that the zipper line. So you can give it a quick press to try to open up that zipper as much as possible. Do the same with the other side. Okay, so we want to take the right side of our zipper, so that's the side with the tag, zipper pull, that's the word, and what we'll do is we'll line that up in my mark. Making up that mark, putting that in place. Okay, so let's take that to the machine. I've already put my zipper foot on my sewing machine. Now I'm just going to move my needle all the way over to the left so that I can sew as close as possible to the zipper teeth. And then I'll start with a locking stitch. And then we just sew as close as we can to the end. And do another locking stitch or a reverse stitch. I've sewed on the first side of the invisible zipper. Now, it gets can be a little bit tricky to get your head around this one. So you want to make sure that's going to go like that. And then this, I want to flip this way. Once again, so that you're putting right sides together and lining up the edge of the zipper tape with the edge of the fabric. So this time around, I need to shift the needle all the way over to the other side. And once again, flattening out that zipper tape. Zipper teeth, I should say, making sure that's sitting so that it's getting pulled flat. Sewing a locking stitch. And continue sewing. Sewing a locking stitch. The test, can we do the zip up? Does it look nice and invisible? Yes, it does. So we'll give that a quick press. How good does that look? Okay, so next we want to leave the zip open. And we'll fold our fabric right sides together. And we'll sew all the way around the edge. So I've switched my presser foot back to my standard one, and now I'm going to start sewing right from where those stitches are from the zipper. And I'm sewing with a 3/8 of an inch or 1 centimetre seam allowance. And I'm going to start with either a locking stitch or a reversing stitch to make sure these stitches are locked into place. Sewing through up to where the zipper tape is and doing a locking stitch or reverse stitch. So there we have our cushion cover all sewn together. Now at this stage, if you wanted to, you could finish all the edges with a serger or a zigzag stitch, or cut it with inking sheets. But as this is something that I'm not planning on washing very often, I'm not going to bother because all of those seams are hidden inside the cushion. So we'll turn our cushion right side out and have a look at it. And clipped the corners because I don't think you really need super sharp corners for a cushion. And I also don't want to risk poking holes in the corners as well. I'll just ease them out. And we'll give it a final press. Finally, we'll pop in the pillow insert, pillow inner, and there you have it, a cute reverse applique heart pillow or cushion.